Hello, guys. Hello, my dear people. Please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me well. Is everything fine? Sound is okay. And the video is okay. If there are any delays, I'm sorry. It will be because of the internet and those of you who were very sensitive to my sound. I have finally got myself a professional microphone, not the big one that serious vloggers have, but the girly one. But I can actually travel with it. It took me really long to choose one. It took me really long to order one, because in Ukraine they are more expensive than in the EU. And finally, actually, it's so difficult with these microphones. But let's skip this information. And I'm very, very happy that you are with me today. Serkan, thank you so much for your support. We are here with the beautiful team of troll hunters, with Philip, with Spencer, with Martin, and with Rudy, all the team together, and with all the beautiful people who are here to speak about the very real defeat of Russia and all this crazy chaos that is going on in the world right now. I'm really happy to hear you from Elmar says that the sound is perfect, and I'm really glad that you like it. Greetings to Canada. Greetings to Texas. And I am very, very happy that you have come today. Greetings to Manhattan Oblast. Trev, hugs to Yorkshire. Your weather is still in Lutsk. Your visit was not that long, but the weather stayed longer. So thank you so much for coming today. Greetings to Turkey. Ben Türkçe öğrenmek istiyorum. And thank you so much. You know, Michael, AJ, West Coast, thank you so much. Ken, thank you for coming. And Pat. And, you know, today we have to hug me because I am in this, I don't know if you can say it, correct me if I'm wrong. I am very much in this huggable mood. How do you say? How do you say it? Teşekkür ederim. You see, I wanted to, like when I was at school. Let's start with something funny. People like girls liked either Ricky Martin or liked Enrique Iglesias. They were super popular at that time. And I liked Tarkan. That's why I know some of Turkey. Thank you so much, Dan. And so can you please help me with the English word for when a person definitely needs more hugs? Francois, hello. And Philip says that he looks a lot like Ricky Martin. Greetings to Switzerland. Beautiful people, and thank you so much for your support and sponsorship. And my earrings, yes, thank you. And I am starved for attention. Well, no, I'd say it's more of feeling down, and it is when you actually want someone, like needing affection, needing hugs. That's exactly what is needed, because I spent some time on Twitter. Thank you so much, Johnny. And reading Elon Musk. And you know that I don't comment on the US politics because many people take it very personally. And I know that we have to be careful with that. Thank you so much, Yoda. Special cheers to you. Thank you. And thank you for your wisdom. And like, I learn a lot. But Elon Musk is not a president of the United States. And I personally hate how he, yes, a comforting hugs, exactly, arms, because he humiliates he thinks that he humiliates Zelensky, but he humiliates of Ukraine, all of the Ukrainian people, when he says things like that. And he's like that Ukraine is not an independent country, that it's all about dollars. I honestly think it was a very bad mistake to start counting support for Ukraine in dollars, billion, and so on. Because literally, we need weapons. This is everything that we were asking for, ammunition. I don't need the right, give me an ammo. And that's exactly what we need. We wanted our skies to be protected, an Iron Dome about Ukraine. We wanted the permission to strike back, because it's not the war between Ukraine and Russia. It is Russia invading Ukraine. And we are trying to get back what belongs to us. Thousands of best people killed. And by saying it's just like all about dollars, not mentioning war crimes, not mentioning Budapest Memorandum and everything, it makes me feel very, very bad. Tell me, please, once again, I am learning from you. Is there anyone who thinks that Musk is cool and I'm just not understanding that? And it's not that I'm provoking you for a quarrel or an argument. I am trying to understand that, like, maybe there are some options that I don't see. But, whenever I say that he is wrong, people start saying, like, but he has given you Starlink, you're biting a hand that is feeding you. I'm sorry, he did not give it. Right now, it's not for free. First of all, like, literally, Ukrainian units pay their own money to use it, and Pentagon pays for it. So it's not a sacrifice. And I feel like very offended, and also the same about Chancellor Scholz. I am sure his political career is finishing, and not like because of my opinion. I'm far away from that, but that's what German people want. Then a question, why on earth he breaks Putin's isolation? And, we are not going anywhere good if Russia returns and Ukraine remains unprotected and Ukraine remains without nuclear weapons. Ukraine, do you want a doomsday scenario? If everything goes according to Putin's plan, just as it was with Crimea, they will either continue in a couple of years, restoring their economy, or they will simply later use all the possible political ways to interfere, as they do now in Georgia, and as they do in Moldova. They will try to take away Zelensky. They will try to make elections where, of course, not openly pro-Russian people will come, but like hidden Russian assets. And they will definitely pretend, and they will use this because when we speak about propaganda, when we speak about informational operations against the US or Europe or something like that, so we have to understand that Russia makes this in Ukraine too. And one of the very popular messages that it uses is that West abandoned you. They could have given you the weapons, they could have let you strike, but they don't do it because they decide everything behind your backs. Thank you so much, Rudy. And that is why I am honestly very worried. I am very worried also because we are really close to the defeat of Russia. Even with all the limited resources, with all the limitations and bans that our allies were putting on Ukraine, we were really close. Have a look at Russian economy. These are not fakes. These are real things happening. And no matter how hard Russia tries to hide it, it is openly visible. For the first time, no, Ukraine is not capable of replacing Starlink on the front lines. There is no other technology that works like that. But we actually pay for Starlink. So it's just like McDonald's will stop feeding me because I'm a Ukrainian, but if I'm paying money, it will feed me. And the same should be with Starlink. Another interesting thing, I have just like switched, and also he turned off Starlink when in 2022 we were organizing some very important operation in Ukrainian Crimea. He switched off Starlink so that Ukraine could not continue the operation. And now Russian soldiers, they also use Starlink. So there is no like preference and something unbelievable about that. But there is one interesting thing that I did not share with you previously. You know that I am on X, Twitter. I personally think it's a hijacked by Musk social media, because I am not subscribed to him and I see him all the time, even if I never visit his page. Like, I do nothing to see him, but I see him all the time. But a very interesting thing, to be verified on Twitter, and for me it was important to be verified on Twitter, you have to register your phone. And I was trying to register myself, you know, I have this verification, and it did not accept me with a Ukrainian number. When I was using my number, my telephone number that I use, my ordinary telephone number, every time I edit it, it showed me like a mistake, an unknown mistake occurred, an unknown mistake occurred. And I have a Polish phone number, and it worked from the very first moment. So, of course, it's not okay that being a Ukrainian, I cannot verify my account using my Ukrainian number. What is that? Yes, I am on Blue Sky. I'm not sure, like I'm still warming up there, but you can join me, and both like moderators were sharing it. The beautiful team. But thank you so much, Scott and Ed, for buying me coffees and for your support. And thank you so much, Duncan. Thank you for the presence of support to so many people. And honestly, guys, it feels very bad when you realize that you cannot get access to the platform because you are Ukrainian. Did we attack anybody, or are we too good at protecting ourselves? So honestly, I feel very, very much worried about that. And right now, like when I visit X, when I read things, what are happening there, and I realized that something very wrong is happening on this like planetary level. And when I ask you, tell me the things that I'm wrong, and like everything is fine, and Elon Musk is doing the good job, and like Tulsi Gabbard or what else is the correct choice. I am 100 happy if you tell me that it's my mistake. But I feel worried, and not just, thank you so much, Marcos. I feel worried, and I feel worried not just for Ukraine. Because as one very wise man said, if the sad world war starts, Ukraine will be on its periphery. Plus, we have experience. And you know, recently I watched one of Wexler's comments on Ukraine developing nuclear weapons, where he says, like, it's bad, it's a bad argument, but do you realize that Ukraine trusted the world and gave up its nuclear potential? Now we have a NATO general saying that he did switch Starlink during an operation in Crimea. You can check it, and he confirmed that he turned off Starlink for Ukrainian troops near Crimea because Crimea does not belong to Ukraine, perhaps from the point of view of Musk. Musk should be on the first exploratory flight to Mars. Honestly, I think it's bad to give so much power to the richest man in the world. You know, many people say that Ukraine is corrupt, but I can guarantee you we don't have that many richest people in the world ruling our country right now. And we are trying to get out of this problem, and people are trying to get in. That's what I don't understand. So coming back to this Wexler's comment on Ukraine developing, I'm not saying it was bad. He was trying to describe this ideal world, but if we follow this logic, like it's bad to think about new nuclear weapons developed because this can lead to, what's the plan? That Ukrainians gracefully die, and then it will continue. It will continue because Putin already switches off gas for Austria. They use the resources. Europe is totally dependent on China and China production and so on. And I think that this Budapest memorandum, if it is violated on one side, then it can be violated on another side. And if I was actually struck by one of the top NATO generals speaking about this reason why they did not let Ukraine and why they did not join Ukrainian troops to take all the Russians out of Ukraine, because of Russian nuclear weapons. And his literal words were like, if Russia did not have nuclear weapons, we would have thrown all of their soldiers out of Ukraine long ago. Then, according to his logics, a country that has nuclear weapons can do whatever it wants. Am I wrong? Please tell me that this is wrong. And what bothers me most of all is that there is a danger that sanctions on Russia will be lifted. There is a danger that some of our allies will try to negotiate with the biggest war criminal very close to the moment where Russia can collapse. And I am so sick and tired that the world tries to save Russia more than it tries to save Ukraine. If you look at the Russian economy, you can clearly see it is collapsing, starting from their interest rates that are already very high, and more to come in December. And looking also at a very important moment with the dollar prices. Officially, it had hit 100, like 100 rubles for $1. But this is an official price. And in official price, where people literally buy dollars, because in Russia, you rarely can find something in banks or where you want to find it, you have to buy it somewhere on the gray or black market. And I'm convinced that the price of dollar there is much, much higher. So definitely it's not an illustration of strength. We have lots of people in Russian civil service, like civil servants and so on, civil workers, fired. These are thousands of people. We have lots of Russian police fired in many different areas. What if not a sign of weakness? That is. And now we have real updates from Russian oil refineries, which is actually the topic of our conversation today, where we see that lots of their oil refineries are either halted like their work, or they are temporarily stopped. For example, at least 3 very big, that is confirmed. That is in Tuapse, in Ilsk, and in Novoshakhtinsk. These are 3 big oil refineries that right now do not work, and as a result do not provide Russia with anything they need. And for Russia, which is a dig and sell economy, it does not produce anything, even like China, even using slavery. We all know how they work. And Russia simply sells natural resources of its republics, not even around the Moscow region, but of some Far East republics. It uses them. And we see that they are really close to this serious inflation. They are trying to hide it. Lots of people are actually quitting from Russia's central bank. And this closed 3 refineries. Why do they close them? Well, first of all, because sanctions do work. Of course, they've invented a shadow fleet that operates. And no matter what, like strong countries of the world do, this shadow fleet continues swimming. Nobody stops it. I like it how lots of articles and lots of countries describe we are keeping a close eye. We are trying to control. What are you saying? What are you controlling? If a fleet that is equal to a very big like fleet of a super country is sailing our oceans unstoppable with total disrespect even to your nature. If you don't care about Ukrainian people, it's about nature, it's about your waters. Neil beautifully reminds us to like the video. Please help us more people to see their reality. And sometimes I have this feeling that there is an epidemic of fear and also stupidity on the planet, where people try to hide from the reality, hoping that it will somehow stop. And we see that like China is looking at some islands near the Philippines, not just Taiwan. We see so many things happening because everything is wrong, because Scholz calls Putin, and after that, Scholz says that he will call China. Is it a position of strength? Is it like a demonstration of power or what? When you speak to one dictator and then you say, whoa, 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 I will call to China. So is it that like Europe is asking China to solve its problems? Are you sure you want this? Do you really think that China can help you out? Seriously. And Russia is close to the collapse. Same as with the Soviet Union. It is always very quickly what happens there. It happens in a blink of an eye. You think that everything is fine. Why? Because all the reports that Russia gives officially, they are fake. They are not real. They can tell whatever they want. They can say that GDP is like the best in decades. It is not real. And thank you so much, Marx. Thank you for your support and greetings to Sweden. And it's tremendous how those who are supposed to be leaders, those who are supposed to demonstrate strengths, start discussing things with China. Like Germany asks the support of China. Hold my beer. Yeah, thank you. I will quote Bill. I don't understand anyone living in the free world who does not support Ukraine. I think it means that money is more important than your lives. Yes, of course, but I don't use our lives as an argument anymore because I realize they don't matter. Do you think we don't understand like everything? We are a smart nation. There are lots of things that we see. We just cannot say them because we do need to be united. It's not the time to quarrel. Thank you so much, Marcel. And with all that, I'm not using Ukrainian lives as an argument because if it was, I think people would have long ago concentrated not on the support of Ukraine, but on the defeat of Russia. We need the defeat of Russia. Stop supporting Ukraine if you continue defeating Russia. That's what I need. I don't need money for my electricity on the streets. I will cope. But I don't want you to say that it's okay to kill innocent people in their own country just because you live close to an imperial bully. And because you were stupid enough to trust other democratic countries and give up your nuclear potential. But even if we forget about the Ukrainian lives, we may speak about the dangers that it imposes in future. Don't you see that, like, I don't know why people think it's just about Ukraine and Ukrainian territories. And this is what right now Musk wants to push, like, oh, NATO is coming, Russia is provoked, they don't like it. First of all, NATO has very vividly demonstrated that it is no danger to Russia at all. Because no matter what agreements and rules Russia breaks, NATO does not react. Even when very, very seriously provoked by Russia, NATO does not react. Now, the border of Russia and NATO grew 1,340 kilometers bigger in 2023 when Finland joined NATO. Congratulations, I'm really happy for you people of Finland. Honestly, that was a very smart move. And Sweden, which does not have a direct border, but like the sea. So Putin, did he say anything about escalation? Did he nuke these countries? No. And to speak that Putin attacked Ukraine because NATO was expanding, it was a provocation or something like that, is total BS. Because despite our heroism, despite the fact that we all want it and we deserve it, nobody in NATO seriously wants to take us. We know that. Putin knows that. You know that. In 2014, when Putin attacked Ukraine, Ukraine was neutral. When Crimea was annexed, Ukraine was neutral. When Putin attacked us in 2022, when he was bombing cancer hospitals, we were not in NATO at all. So do you know the only reason why Putin does not want Ukraine in NATO? Because he understands that he will not be able to attack us then. He knows NATO will never attack him, even when he badly, badly deserves it. And I have shared on X an article of a very, very smart man that I love reading his works, Peter Pomerantsev. I'm sure those of you who follow Russian propaganda, you might have watched some of his videos. And he is definitely a great person. And he wrote an article addressing the people of the United States to some extent, where he says that it is like when you stand against bullying in Ukraine, you stand against bullying in the United States. If you want to stop violence in Ukraine, it will be a consequence that you will prevent lots of violence cases in the United States. If you fight against mafia, you fight against it everywhere. But if you close your eyes to various crimes and pretend they are not happening, you invite them to your homes too. It works like that. If you do not stop an offender from doing something bad when you have an opportunity, it will come to your home. It works like that. Standing against bullying anywhere on this planet makes this planet safer and more protected against bullying. So by trying to demonstrate it's none of your business when, like, I don't know, a criminal is stabbing a woman next to your doors and you can actually at least call the police, will not make you a happy and successful person. Because, well, I believe there is God. Even if you don't, there is something in your brain and in your soul that will change after that. Aggression appeased is aggression amplified. And I am very proud, honestly, of the achievements that the Ukrainian armed forces did with those limited resources, with all the efforts not to let Ukraine collapse, but not to let Ukraine be defeated, and not to let Russia be defeated, which is insane, because Russia turns into a big North Korea, and now we will have a big North Korea in Europe. Congratulations. Yes, I think it is highly possible that Ukraine will build its own nukes. And I will tell you, if I were a president of Ukraine, I would start building it in 2014 to have it. I won't use it, but you will know I have it, because it doesn't work like that. Honesty, reliability, heroism is not like supported, is not acknowledged. Okay, what I hear quite often is that you are great people, you are brave people, but unfortunately there are not enough things that we can help you. Stay strong. I like it how people, sometimes even from the best people, I receive like emails. Please don't get struck by missile, I will feel sad. Do you think it's okay? How do I feel when I get a message like that? It's just like, I know the person means good, but it's not okay. Just like, I don't want to think about myself that way. Or when I receive a message like, it seems like we have abandoned you guys, but you stay united, you can do it, you will surprise the world. Yes, we can do it. We don't have a choice. We will keep doing it. But I cannot tell you that I'm happy with all this happening. I do think like I liked it, and I saw that yeah, but just like, don't tell people, I hope you won't get struck by a missile today. It does not make a person feel happy or optimistic, honestly. Or some people telling like, I'm surprised you're still alive and vlogging. It's so cool. Don't accept it as normal that like, oh, you're Ukrainian and you're still alive. Wow. And that is really cool. And I think it's just like insane. So by appeasing evil and demonstrating that you can like listen to everything, and you can like okay, there is like many leaders actually tell us, thank you so much, Ken, for the coffees. Like many people often say that we can do nothing because Russia has nuclear weapons. We can do nothing because Russia is big. But then How will you stop others? How will you stop others people deciding what happens? And you know, when I was reading this ridiculous tweet of Musk when he says like, oh, Zelensky has a sense of humor when he says that Ukraine is an independent country. And one person said that that I wish all of your Tesla factories were taken by China, like nationalized by China, and we will see what will you say like. We will say, oh, are you weak enough to take them all back? Then you are a loser, Musk. Because if we let, like, I did not like all of his words, like when he, at the very start, when he was supporting Ukraine, but I did not like it when he was saying like, Vladimir Putin, I encourage you on a bet or something like that. And Ukraine is at stake. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even if it's a metaphor, it's not a good metaphor. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Gary. Ukraine is an independent country. Ukraine surprised the world when it did not collapse as international intelligence thought it will. And I'm sure something similar will happen now. We will surprise the world, but the world surprised us too. The world surprised us too. And you know, one of the reasons why I think Ukraine should win is that there is no one to lead, and there are too many weak leaders that are afraid when someone tells them nuclear weapons or I will do whatever I want to you, and they say okay. So I think that the fact that Poland and South Korea are talking about joining the war in Ukraine is great, because for South Korea it's personal already. We know that North Korean soldiers are getting that practice, they get access to Russian military information, and of course in Poland they have really good weapons, but the nation is not ready to fight. That's why they actually started conscripting Ukrainian people in Poland. Their men are not ready to fight. You have to be realistic. Like, their inside polls tell that no, they are ready to move further. I don't know, maybe it's different, but right now, North Korea provides information, like gets information from Russia. And from what I understand, they keep targeting ballistic missiles. Thank you so much, Arms. Glory to heroes. And it is extremely important to know that like they train. It is also combat training, ballistic missiles targeted in the direction of Japan. Now they have used a couple of drones close to the borders with South Korea. So we have to be realistic. Something is like happening. And that is why, if, for example, the United States decide to concentrate on their internal things and they do not want to participate in our war against imperialism and this bully, then I think many should forget about these restrictions that the United States were putting also on, like on Denmark, on many countries who have US weapons, but were not allowed to use them because the US did not give a permit. So maybe, thank you so much, Thomas. Maybe South Korea will be more active. And actually, I was surprised to learn that South Korea is a very military industrial country, that it is actually in top 10 producers of various weapons. And it can be actually very good. Yeah, nearly 900 likes. Please, let's make them more. We can do 1,000, I'm sure. So I think it's actually useful both for Poland and for South Korea to join Ukrainian army. I don't say they need to be in the trenches. No one would allow them, but there are lots of things. Thank you so much, OMS. There are lots of things that they can actually do, learn, and it can be very, very useful for them too. Greetings to the United Kingdom. Yeah, so South Korea, I'm sure, will become more active. Also, it was really interesting to learn that the Prime Minister of Japan quite unexpectedly visited Kyiv. And this visit was also quite interesting. And I'm sure some things were discussed that we don't know about. Maybe they were not public. Do I have some viewers from Japan right now? That would be so interesting to know. Do we have someone watching from Japan? If we do, greetings from Ukraine. And we were really happy that your Prime Minister visited our country right now. So honestly, I think that I'm really happy to hear that, like, the political leadership of the United Kingdom, of France, of South Korea, of Japan, of the Scandinavian countries, of Australia, of New Zealand, like, they don't have doubts whether we need to defeat Russia. And hopefully, it's night in Japan. Well, good night then to Japan, but thank you so much. Yeah, that's a very beautiful and interesting country. And I see someone is definitely writing in Japanese, but I'm not sure I can do it. And Japanese food and so on. Yeah, greetings to Australia. We do feel your strong and unwavering support, and same about New Zealand. And once again, if we live in this crazy world, Australia and New Zealand is very close to China, and China also has plans to change the world order. And why shouldn't it? Thank you so much, Eric. Why shouldn't it if Putin will get, like, greetings to Marseille? It was the city I visited this summer. And it was just like, if Russia is forgiven, mass murders in Ukraine, bombing infrastructure, destroying lives in the 21st century, why should China not repeat this experience? Simply tell me, why not? Why not? They will. They will. And it is extremely wise actually to change your dependence. It's really bad that so many countries in North America, in Europe, are dependent on China and on Russia and on India, on the resources of the countries. It does not help you build independent relations based on your, like, values. Okay, if you like something, you can cooperate, but if you don't, you don't have to accept everything just because you need the gas. You cannot sell yourself for gas. It won't bring you happiness. And, recently I've heard a very interesting thought of one Ukrainian intellectual that I respect, Vitaly Portnikov. And he was actually saying that this global war, hybrid war, began when the majority of North American and European businesses brought their production to China and other countries where they actually use very bad conditions of work. And it's true, because we may say that, like, everybody knows in what conditions people work in China, making sneakers for us. We all know that there are labor camps for Uyghurs in China, that many of these sweaters and appliances and telephones are so cheap because, thank you so much, Rach, Brit, thank you, just because we have relocated production there. And now we are very dependent on everything that is produced in these sweatshops. Thank you for reminding me. I know when I was learning English, I learned the term. And then Did it bring us any good? No, because first of all, we are fully dependent on these sweatshops and their production. And secondly, we have too many sweaters. We have too many hoodies. I know I'm a girl, I like sweaters, but I mean it. Thank you so much, Rudy, for the coffee. And it's just like, but yes, I mean like that we are dependent on authoritarian regimes. And this is bad. Like everyone knew that Nord Stream 2 was made to start attacks on Ukrainian territory. Everyone was shouting about that. But what do we have? Let's do it. Angela Merkel believed that Putin will be economically interested. No, no. He knows he can get everything because his shadow fleet works, because Scholz calls him, and he has everything. He has everything. And no one in Ukraine will ever accept that. No one in Ukraine will ever forgive that, because you cannot imagine what we go through, what we went through. All these graveyards, all these brave, beautiful people lost forever because they were defending freedom. They were defending our choice of Western values. And now you say like, oh, you have no money, so you have to accept Russia's rules, if you translate Musk. Yeah, we buy too much crap. Honestly, we do. And now we have like all of that problems. We have too much crap in our houses, and we speak about the troubles of this consumption, like overconsumption of everything. And we speak that like too many of the things, we don't need them. We don't know what to do with them on the planet. The planet is overpolluted, but at the same time, we don't have any production capacities in Europe or North America. Thank you so much, Cindiana. And what's the solution? Should we go to Mars, or should we send Musk to the Mars? On this quite positive note, I would like to remind you that finally, we have the English dubbed version of the documentary about big Russian lies and Russian propaganda that I was working on last year. It was on Ukrainian telemarathon, on Ukrainian television. And it was kind of popular, and it took really long to dub it. I'm very grateful to Steve, who is a friend, and we've met because of the YouTube channel, and who helped to verify the English version, and also we dubbed it. And I'm asking a lot from my beautiful moderator team, but can you actually find a link to this first series, and tomorrow the second one will appear, so those of you who did not watch can actually see it. Can you find it? Or I will look it up, but I'd be very grateful if you could drop a link in our chat so more people can watch it. And I'm asking you to share it. It's not on my channel, it's on the channel of the Suspilne, which is a TV station in Ukraine. And I think it may be not ideal, but not enough English-speaking products about Ukraine fighting to debunk Russian propaganda. And I'm sorry if I'm not good with my microphone yet. I've received a warning from my team, so I'm sorry if I was not good with that. But yeah, so unfortunately, there are too many things, too many bad things happening. And I am an optimist, and I believe that all of this crap, all of these authoritarian regimes, all of that will reach some kind of, yeah, it's Australia, I know, like, I was happy it was made in Australia, not in China. And it is extremely important. to believe and to stay united and not to give up, that after this like peak of this evil, there will be a tremendous collapse for them. And you see, it is extremely important to remain united and not to get like lost. We will not let another Iron Curtain drop. Thank you so much, Grant, for buying me coffees and your support. And yeah, I see that some of you subscribe. The next one is coming this week, maybe on Sunday, maybe tomorrow. I will be sharing links in my community and also on my social media platforms, so you can follow. And that would be, I would be very grateful. I will be very grateful if you share. Thank you so much, Rudy, if you share. So I'm the presenter, and also I was partially responsible for the script writing. And it was very, very interesting to look for the interviews, lots of interesting people, university professors, researchers, media experts, and even top sportsmen. So you can recognize a lot of people, actually maybe coming from your countries and your cities. So I ask you to please share. To please share that on your social media platforms, because you see how social media changed the world. Now Elon Musk in total control of X, and I can tell you, like, it's amazing what is happening. And of course it's not healthy, but it demonstrates the size of the influence that it can make. And Martin reminds you where I can be found, and on a blue sky. Yeah, that's water. If you're asking what I'm drinking, it's water, sparkling water, mineral water, and so on is very good in Ukraine. Like when I travel and I drink it in the EU and I compare with the Ukrainian one, but maybe that's because it's my native. But I do have lots of friend subscribers who remind me that Ukrainian food is much better than in many other countries of the world. And I dream that when we win, you will be able to come, try. And honestly, thank you someone for buying me coffees. Yeah, Hromadsky is a good TV channel too. That you will try and you will like it, because somehow, I do feel that our food is very tasty, very tasty. There is a question about Dr. Pali, if he is on the documentary. No, he is not on the documentary, but today after our stream, I will post an interview. We had so many good questions. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for your support and comforting hugs, much needed, honestly. And I will share the interview with Dr. Pali, 10 questions answered out of many beautiful. I shared all the questions with him and he was ready to answer all of them. So maybe we will continue in our next interviews. I'm sorry if some of your questions remained unanswered, but we will separate that perhaps in a number of interviews. And he was surprised at how much people know about Ukraine and how deep in their meaning the questions was. So I greatly encourage you to check this interview, and hopefully you will like it. Drinking water in Ukraine is generally is good, but you do realize how much evil Russia does to Ukrainian rivers, to Ukrainian ecology, to Ukrainian soils. So it all depends on when we stop them, how we stop them. For example, in my hometown, if you'd ask me, can I drink this tap water, like running water? Yes. It's not that I do it often, because I like this like a little bit sparkling water, not still. But in general, I think that it's safe to drink We definitely use it for making tea. Thank you so much, Godzi, for making tea, for making coffee, and so on. Yeah, I really encourage you to watch this documentary series because it debunks various very popular Russian propaganda myths. And they demonstrate facts from history. And one of my favorite, actually, one of my favorite quotes that I have come up with, if not, it's my quote. I will quote myself when we were working on this documentary, that by stealing our national history, Russia cannot steal our national qualities that are needed to actually build this history. And then they destroy us because they cannot ruin us, they cannot conquer us, and they simply apply this, like, have you read the numbers of missiles dropped on Ukraine? Why Elon Musk does not share that? Why does not he share how many Russian missiles destroyed Ukrainian lives? And it's so wrong to concentrate like on dollars that are given to Ukraine. Don't give us money at all. Give us missiles, give us drones, give us F-16s, and let us strike Russia. The plan is that after they come and kill you, you can kill those who killed you. It's not a victory plan, I'm sorry. And also, there was a question, how are your F-16s? How are your F-16s? Guys, we have like 6. We need 100. They are okay standing. Sometimes, like, we have downed 2 Russian Su-34. But literally, when you need 100, you cannot change anything with 6. Another problem that also makes me a little bit dissatisfied and anxious, that people like reporting about how many things were given to Ukraine. They keep reporting for months when the things are not in Ukraine, they are not even traveling to Ukraine, but they report it so many times that it seems like we have received 10 times more because they reported about that 10 times and it's not yet in Ukraine. And you don't know that. And it seems like, oh my God, they keep asking and we keep sending. No, thank you so much, Godzi. It's just the talking. It's the same as when they give promises to you about something, that like they will repair a school or they will change a road. It takes years before it is changed. But if you watch the news, it seems like everything is okay. So I personally keep repeating that I don't mind abandoning all the help to Ukraine. All I want is the defeat of Russia. Forget about Ukraine, let's defeat Russia. Russia must be defeated. Russia violated all the possible agreements. Russia killed so many people in Ukraine. And, thank you so much for buying me coffees. I have just like shared this information and maybe I will quote it here. Like when Chancellor Scholz says that we need to find an agreement with Russia, we need to sign a new agreement. And then there is a selection of agreements that Russia violates right now: UN Charter, Nuclear NPT 70, Helsinki Accords, Belovesia Accords, Budapest Memorandum, Black Sea Fleet Treaty, Friendship Treaty 1980, Treaty of Azov Sea and Kerch Strait, Kharkiv Pact 10. Russia violates all of that. Thank you so much, Dan. Why on earth we need to sign one more agreement with this terrorist country? Why? I don't know, when are we getting this F-16s? Like, I don't know. Like, people are talking about giving them, but we are talking. We are on the level of talking. And when you read this all intelligence data that is now leaked from 22, 23, more of that will be coming. And people literally say, like, we cannot give Ukraine aviation, but without aviation, Ukraine cannot win. But if Ukraine wins, Russia will use nuclear weapons. What do we do? And why these Ukrainians are still fighting? I feel many have this question. I feel many have the question. They hope that by sacrificing Ukraine, they will solve a problem. Did it help in 1939? Did it help with Czechia, with Poland? It did not. It will not help the same. It will not help. And what is worse, right now, when this chaos is happening, when people are thinking about talks with Putin, ending his isolation, not dictating him what to do before he is arresting, but listening to his arguments, we are really close to the defeat of Russia, even with all the limits that were put on Ukraine, even with all the fear demonstrated by the global leaders. Russia is on urge. It does not have enough people. You've seen there are lots of protests in like Novorossiysk or Novorod. I can make a mistake. There are soldiers who don't want to go to the meat grinders in Ukraine. We are very close to the collapse of their economy with inflation growing, interest rates insane, like Russia is on the top of that in the world. We have more than 100 rubles per $1. We have serious problems on their construction, in their construction business. Well, like there are so many symptoms that Russia is in great trouble. But no, let's negotiate. What can we negotiate? And no one in Ukraine will accept that. And please, like, I think that the heroism of my people, the decisiveness of Zelensky, is definitely a proof that we are not at stake. And it's not okay that the richest person in the world can say such things. Russia is running out even of people, even though they have millions. But do you think like North Korean soldiers in Kursk region are a sign of Russia's strength? Do you understand that they needed to invite a foreign army to help them out? Ukraine would love to, but like our allies don't want to send even like logisticians, even instructors. They are afraid of escalation. Thank you so much, Kurt. Russians are not afraid of escalation. That is their plan. That is the strategy. They keep escalating. And it's insane. It's insane. And what makes me feel like worried, again, one of the comments that I've read on the internet, that Rome, ancient Rome, also believed it would not collapse. Thank you so much, Michael. And it happened. And right now we have North Koreans fighting against the independent nation in the heart of Europe, online. You can see that. And what answers do we get from NATO that, like Russia says, we are protecting ourselves from NATO? You don't need to protect yourself from NATO. NATO is not working. It's not reacting. It says, we will come up with another decision. We express concerns, and we will let you know what is wrong. We will answer somehow. We need to think. While North Korean soldiers are already fighting in Europe. How can we like demonstrate it is a sign of strength or something? Empires always collapse. And I'm sure that, of course, we will see the collapse of Russia. Thank you so much, Voxpedia. Oh, Nomad did not survive long. And of course, Russia should worry about China, and more bad things are coming. Russia likes saying proxy, so Russia is proxy of China. That's obvious. That is very visible. If China stopped supplying Russia, Russia would long ago collapse during this war. It was definitely that Russia is capable of fighting this war, being the largest country in the world, pretending that they have the second strongest army and so on. They can only continue this war because they are supported by China, because they are supported by North Korea, because they are supported by Iran, because people close their eyes on Russian shadow fleet. Do you realize that if no one supported Russia, I mean China, Iran, if they knew it was very dangerous for them to do so, if we did not allow Russian shadow fleet to swim in our seas, which is good for the seas too, not just for Ukraine, we would not need all the support. Thank you so much, Marcus. Why is that so, that people are tired of support when they are not doing, like, there are other things? So unfortunately, no, like, once again, the more I live, the more I observe Ukrainian politics, which is not ideal, but I feel proud. Thank you so much, Neuroplot. I feel proud of the decisiveness of Zelensky. I support him. I support him. And I feel very humiliated when a leader of the country that stood against imperial, evil bully, that violated all of those rules that your respected forefathers were writing, that this person, Musk, can mock a leader of such a country, together with all of this country, together with all the graves of Ukrainian children killed by Russia, with thousands of Ukrainian children stolen by Russia. You've seen it all. You've seen photos, you've seen videos. Not enough? I am sorry. Yeah, I know that you understand that, and that you support Ukraine, and it's very important. Greetings to Guatemala. And that's why I've mentioned that I need comforting hugs, and you have given me ones, and I'm very grateful for that. But focus on Russia. Why don't we read about this economic tremendous problems in Russia? 3 oil refineries halted. 3 oil refineries not working because they cannot. They don't have enough capacity. They have problems with export. We keep destroying, like 20% of Russia oil refining industry paralyzed because of Ukrainian strikes. And what we had Sullivan coming to Ukraine to ask us not to target oil refineries. What was the plan? The plan was just like, when will you finally die, so that we can return to working with Russia? We won't. We won't. And believe me, you want us alive, and you want us to protect you against the growing dangers from China, from Russia, and from many other places that seem safe. But as we see this weak reaction, you know that the weak reaction to the annexation of Crimea is an invitation to the full-scale war. The same is the giving up of Ukraine is the invitation of more countries to be invaded by Russia. And you cannot imagine how dependent you are on various connections with these countries, on various economical things, on various political things, on technologies, on natural resources. It may seem as something far away, but it is not. Thank you so much for the support and your kind words, but I know, please share the videos on your social media platform. Join me on Instagram, X. I'm remaining because, like, maybe we will take Musk one day out of this social media. But also, we were asked not to strike oil refineries, especially at the beginning. And I'm sure you've noticed we did not strike them during the US elections. And I'm sure it's not because we didn't want to. There are lots of restrictions that we get. We have long-range missiles, and we are not allowed to use them. Like, you have weapons, but don't use them. It's like, this is a knife, protect yourself, but don't stab anyone who will try to stab you. So also on Threads, we have a Discord community, And now I'm on Blue Sky, and the beautiful team of troll hunters kept sharing this link, so do join me there. I will keep reposting the important things there. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, Debbie. And what do we have here? So anyway, please, with all this chaos, with all this hybrid informational operations, please keep a close eye on North Korean soldiers in Russia, because that's a demonstration of Russia's weakness. Have a look at their troubles in oil refining industry. They need to close their oil refineries, which is the basis of Russian economy. Have a look at their inflation, at their interest rates, at the price of ruble in comparison to dollar. There are so many things that Russia is actually at the edge of the collapse of its economy. And after the collapse of the Russian economy, what will happen? Right, the collapse of Russia. Because it was the same in 1990s, in the end of 1980s. Unnecessary war in Afghanistan, economic problems, low prices on oil, and what do we have? The collapse of the USSR. Thank you so much, Godzi, you're amazing. So something very, very similar is happening. And I am sure that if nobody interferes, thank you so much, Bivan, if no one interferes, if no one lifts sanctions from a war criminal, we will win. And I also hope that we will be able to influence the politicians if they want to make some stupid decisions. Because the consequences, definitely, thank you so much, Danka, the consequences can be devastating. And not just for Ukraine. Once again, I'm not exaggerating. Ukraine is your friend. Greetings, Katarina. Greetings to Sweden. And I hope it will happen soon, the collapse of the Russian economy. Cheers to Godzi and all the sponsorship that you give to our people, to our community. Honestly, guys, I'm very grateful that we have our community, that we can change things with our community, that I learn a lot from your comments. I'm always grateful when you provide your reactions and your opinions, because sometimes I get very anxious and then you give me your comforting comments and I start thinking in a more creative and logical way. And that helps me a lot. Also, you provide me insights about your problems, about your political decisions, and I mean it. It's really amazing, and I love our community. I'm so proud of it. It is the thing that I am most proud of. I'm writing the last chapter, Francois. The last chapter is optimistic, the victory plan and what I want you to do in Ukraine after we win. I finished one chapter, was really difficult. Thank you so much. Marco was very difficult for me to write. It's about life in times of the big war. I have the chapters and so on. So hopefully now I need some help with, maybe we have some literary agents. Let me know if there are some, because it has to be serious. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yoda. I like your wisdom. And once again, I learn a lot from you. So I change my opinions. I think smart people do that when I hear the arguments that can change them. United we stand. Remember to check my interview with the famous Ukrainian historian Alexander Pali today. Thank you so much, Anthony. He will answer some of your questions about Kiev Rus, about Vikings, about the role of Ukrainian army in times of the Second World War and the First World War. So hopefully you will like the conversation and maybe we will continue with it. I was honored to speak with the author of this English-speaking history book about Ukraine. Thank you so much, Godzi. Thank you so, so much. Let me know what are the other topics you would like discussed on the channel. I plan to spend some time in the capital next week. So I will take you with me, and maybe with this microphone, and I have this like this fluffy stuff, you know, like I love everything furry. I don't wear natural fur because it's bad. But whenever I see someone in this like teddy bear fur, I cannot keep, but I need to touch a person. Even if I don't know you really close, but you're wearing a fur coat, an artificial fur coat, so I will touch you. And that's why I needed this. Like when I was buying microphones, one of the main issues that I had was like, do they have this fluffy stuff? It's actually to protect you from the wind. I rarely recorded something outside because I don't know if you know, but like all of my vlogs, I record with my iPhone because with vlogging on a daily basis, you cannot like set up a studio. It can be difficult if you do it on a daily basis. I try to keep it simple. And that's why the microphone on the iPhone in the wind was not good. So hopefully I will be able to show you around Kyiv. I'm traveling on business, but I love the capital. I'm very proud of my capital. It's very beautiful. So yeah, I remember about EcoFlow, and I will show that. Okay, thank you so much for your jokes and so on. I want to thank Martin. I want to thank Spencer, and I want to thank Philip, and I want to thank Rudy, and Yoda, and Neil, and Scott, and Michael, and Francois, and NJ, and so many beautiful people who have come, and of course Trev, and so many good people who spent this time with me, who provided me with some comfort and confidence there that smart and freedom-loving people prevail on this planet. And thank you so much. Remember to check the video with my interview with Alexandra Pali. I hope you will like it. It will appear on the channel sometime soon. Also, be careful from scammers that appear from time on the time. I never invite you to chat. Of course, I never offer you any lotteries, and I never send you Snickers as a present. Unfortunately, I cannot afford that yet. Remember to join me on Instagram, X, Threads, Discord, and Blue Sky. Also, we have a merch shop with lots of items that work well as reminders and conversation starters. And your homework is to watch a documentary where we debunk Russian myths series about history available. And the next one will be about literature. Thank you so much, Serkan. Thank you so much. And the next one will be about literature, and perhaps it was my favorite series because there I speak about my favorite Ukrainian writer who was so handsome, who was so nice, who was so cool, and of course he was killed by Russia. So remember to check that. I share that on all of my social media platforms. I love you very much, and I'm beyond grateful that you have spent this evening with me. I've talked to you. Maybe I was a bit too emotional, but this definitely helped me. And I am sure we will win, because all this Russia, it's in the past. The way they live their life, the way they organize their life, the way they treat their own people, it's in the past. And past cannot win over future. Thank you once again. I love you, and Slava Ukraini!